everyone. Today I will present my funny project. The title of this project is called Oh My Food. So why it is called Oh My Food, I will explain this in the later part. So this project is mainly propose a mobile solution to address an environment related issue. Now let's take a look of the problem statement of this project. Of course, we Malaysians, we do love food so much. We are even blessed with affordable and delicious foods such as nasi lemak, roti canai, pinding char kway teow, and other Malaysian delights. With so much of variety food, but we do create one huge problem, which is food waste. So before talking about why food is created, let's see where does all this food waste we created usually go. The most common way of dumping this food waste in Malaysia usually will end up here, a landfill. Nearly 80% of generated food end up here. Of course, the food won't just disappear just like magic, like that. They will go through the biological process and release a gas called methane. This has the effect of trapping heat in our atmosphere that are causing global warming, which is the recent climate change. So now, food waste also accounted 8% of annual global emission, and if food waste is a country, it will be the third largest emission country after United States and China. Now, let's see what climate change has done to our country, especially in the recent disastrous flood in our nation history, which happened in December 2021. More than 71,000 people are affected in our economic powerhouse. This including like Kuala Lumpur, Selangor, and including the east coast of Malaysia. So scientists warn that if humans continue doing nothing to reduce our gas emission, global temperature will be raised another 2 degrees, which causing more catastrophic event. This including drought, our plantation, our crops cannot grow well, flood will happen more frequently, and even like urban heat wave that are causing unpleasant place to live. Now the issue here is, why is food waste happening surrounding us? Now look at this chart. Almost half of the food waste are created from household and end user just like you and me. So one of the reasons of food waste is people lack of knowledge. In the market, the most common expiry date that we see is usually is used by date and also best before date. There are huge difference between these two different dates. For use by date, you can eat the food until the specific date, but not after the date. Unlike the best before date, the food still safe to eat, but the quality like texture, the taste is not as good as before this date. So, and also people are not knowing when the food expired. This is another issue that is creating food waste. Even some people treat their fridge like a black hole. They dump everything inside their fridge, every food inside the fridge, but not knowing how much food was left inside. So this lack of knowledge are creating more food waste around us. Another reason is unorganized routine. These routines usually refer to how we plan our daily meals and grocery shopping. Sometimes over-purchasing is happening due to promotion in supermarket, like example, buy one, free one, even like 50% discount. So people tend to overstocking because of this promotion. And people misjudge how much food we need, especially in the house of four. Lastly, lack of meal planning is another causes that people buy a lot of food without making plan when and how the food will be consumed. Like even you buy milk, if you can't consume within a stipulated date, you will go bad. All these consumer habits are causing more food waste. Therefore, I will propose a solution in my project to tackling such household food waste issue. So this solution will be called Oh My Food, a household food management mobile application. So why the app's called Oh My Food? Usually when we are shocked, right, we do shout out like, "Oh my God, why you do this? Oh my God, what happened to you?" So this is how all my food idea come from. So if let's say there's someone throwing food away, I will shout out, "Oh my food! Why you throw the food away?" It's this kind of a expression. So to develop this project, I'm using the traditional project methodology, which is a waterfall model. Waterfall model is very simple and easy to follow. It has a 5 stages and flow like a waterfall from higher pool downward to lower pool. So it's more suitable for small project like mine. And each of the stage must be completed before move to the next stage, which is quite rigid. If there's a changes in a certain stage, example in the implementation stage, the whole project will fall in back to the previous phase, which is the design phase, before we can move on to the next phase. Next, I will explain each stage of the waterfall model. And the first stage of a waterfall model is a requirement analysis. There are various methods of analyze and define requirements for software project. So for all my food, the first method will be using questionnaire. It's a simple form designed through a Google form and distribute around my circle of friends and colleagues to understand the project requirements. Second, I can use mind mapping, which is also a simple tool to use and save time. By using one topic and then branch out certain idea, for example, like this, food waste is a main topic, and we'll discuss why food gone waste, how to prevent it, what is the food that people thrown away. Lastly, a use case scenario is a method stand in the shoe of user, which is a thing from the user. How if I'm a user, how would I like to interact with the application, and what will I like to see from this application? The outcome of this analysis will create this project functional requirements. Now let's look at the first function of this application, which is a track inventory. So user can add any item inside the application. Mostly will be the food item, such as milk, food and condiments, and also including the quantity and storage location. The most importantly function is set reminder. The reminder can set by user, and then they will alert user when the food is expiring soon. So this will be the prototype of all my food. User can see the storage location of their inventory of their food item. Item view, alert user. So if you have a red color of a title, so you can alert user while user open up the app. And add item, menu and submenu. Submenu. The next function of this application will be a shopping list. This second function of this application is the main idea is to prevent user over purchasing, only buy what is needed. So once the item consumed, right, the apps will auto suggest user to add the item into the shopping list. If user check the item from this shopping list, the application will also suggest user to add back into the inventory. So this will cut down time for user to input manually inside the inventory list. So a simple shopping list function can be shown as here. Yeah, so item list, people can check and uncheck, add item, and the submenu and menu. The third function of this of all my food application will be writing note. This function is basically want to make user to plan meal ahead by writing note about what to cook for the week and make note of the new recipes. Here is an example of the note list. When the user press on the selected note, the orange background color will highlighted to show the node is selected, and people can add node. Also, there's a sub-menu and menu button. The next stage of waterfall model is the design phase. During this stage, logical design will be created to describe the application purpose and the scope of the project. So it will be easy to describe by using a use case diagram. So from this use case diagram, right, we can see that user can add item into the application. They also can set expiry date, consume level, and also reminder for each item they entered. Alternatively, user also can set the reminder for those items that already input in the inventory list. Next will be item can be added into the shopping list. And if the item being consumed, application will prompt user to add item into the shopping list also. So user also can view a shopping list, add note for meal planning, and view the note of the meal that they have planned before. Next is a data flow diagram. Basically, the data flow diagram is all about how the data being processed. If user input is provided into the system, and what output which user will get. First process is add items. User can add item by keying the quantity, storage location, expiry date, related details into the system. The process get users item details, right? Then they will provide acknowledgement of the item added to the user. So this item added will then store in the inventory data store. Next process is search item. User can search particular item by typing related keyword. Then the process will be search the item inside the inventory data in inventory data store. If match, then they will provide the item details to the user. And the third process is edit consume item. User can edit the consume label of a particular item, and then you update to the inventory. If the item is fully consumed, then they will add consumed item to the shopping list. The next process is adding item into the shopping list. User can add item into the shopping list, and the process will get the details and store it in the shopping list data store. Then they will also receive an acknowledgement if the item is successfully added. Last process will be user can make note for meal planning. Once the note is made, the note will be stored in the note data store. Next is the entity relationship diagram. For this ERD, right, is a structural diagram to use in database design. So I have identified 3 entities in this project. The first will be items, second will be shopping list, and the third will be node. As we can see, we can see PK, which is a primary key. Each after entity there's a primary key to represent using a ID. So the relationship between item and shopping list is upon consume, right? So this is showing that when the item being consumed by user, then there will be many items can be added into the one shopping list only. The next phase of the waterfall will be implementation. So for this implementation stage, usually will be start coding based on the requirement set earlier, and also we'll do some unit testing. If changes required, you'll be fall back to the design phase again. After which will be followed by testing. For this testing, usually will be integrated with other unit as a whole to test the whole system test the whole application whether it's a completely error-free, and then you also ensure that you met all the requirements that are set in the early phase. Lastly, will be a release and maintenance. Once the application is ready, they will release to public by uploading to GitHub and also the like Google Play Store. And if there's a bug discovered, then have to fix the bug. At the same time, maintenance phase, some of the new feature can be added in the future. Yeah, that's it. Thank you, everyone.